Alrighty, welcome to the Night Lounge. It is your host, Darker Knight, welcoming you back to another episode of I'm just reacting to the way the world is these days. We got a nice little audience back here. These guys are gonna be holding it down. Venus and Shiloh, how you doing back there? Huh? How you guys doing, huh? Yeah, they're doing pretty good. But yeah, no, we got a nice one today. We're gonna be talking about well, just the demands that these ladies these days have for us, but can't seem to understand what demands will be made of them. So let's just jump right on in.
Where, how do you feel about long distance relationships?
It doesn't matter. I'm in school to be a pilot as well. I graduate in a couple months, so that's why I actually flew here half off. So I travel a lot. And, the girl I was dating, she was in the Midwest, so I was flying her in. So you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, so let me
Alright,
roll this
let's
back to
bring
the
out
beginning.
our
So here you go. So
single
yeah, so initially
guy.
all these girls just straight pop on this poor guy.
Hello, welcome.
And he's not a bad looking dude.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. What's your name?
My name is is it on? My name is Romeo. That's with herself.
Okay.
Can we get an F in the chat for my boy here? Like, because like, oh my goodness, everyone straight hit the button on him. Oh,
You do have an unpop balloon. Your name, your name and age, and why do you still have your balloon unpopped?
My name is Maya. I'm 29, and I just thought we had like a lot in common. I bartend as well. I'm also an inspiring actress, so I like that you're into film. And you're in an area that I plan on moving to soon, so it's just
hold up. That whole aspiring actress thing, that's kind of, I don't know, that's red flag city. I don't know about y'all, but that just strikes to me as a girl who's seeking attention big time. I don't know. I've never seen it end well. I mean, look what just happened with Sydney Sweeney not too long ago. She, got popular and boom, next thing you know, her dude don't matter no more. Boom, next. I need to focus on me. No, you need to be single because that's your brand. And your brand sells more when you don't got a man in the back pocket. It's just the way it is. Don't try to yell at me. I'm just the one calling it the way it is. I don't write it. I just report it. You feel me? Like, hey.
things in common.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys have any questions for one another?
But she's at least holding on, so we'll see.
What do
We'll
you see
see.
yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'm hoping that I'm a wife, a mom, and an
Alright.
entrepreneur with a thriving business.
Good that she, listed those things first. Too many times you ask a girl what she wants to be, and the first thing she'll start listing off is career options. And, like, career options aren't what we're interested in. We're interested in, are you aspiring to actually sit by our side? Because all these other things, these hobbies, these activities, all these things are attention-seeking hobbies most of the time. I mean, even this chick, I would be cautious because her bartending and then part-time actressing, these are both attention-seeking. I mean, literally as a bartender, especially female bartender. I mean, come on now. You're not making your dough because you mix me a fantastic drink.
At that point, yeah.
Miss me with that.
Question?
Oh,
I always, like I said, I don't ask women what they bring to the table. I think that's cliche. A lot of guys do that. It's stupid. But how could you bring value to my life?
I think for me, I would bring into any man's life just a peace of mind and just fun, like enjoy a life. I feel like I like to have fun, and I like to just enjoy life. So that's what I would be bringing.
Okay.
Yeah,
You have any questions for him?
I do. When was your last relationship, and why did it end?
My last relationship was, I'm sorry, my last relationship was last year. I was actually going to be engaged in Greece, but she couldn't have kids due to medical stuff. So that's why we both decided to cause up. And for me personally, I'm not going to
Oof,
force
that's rough.
somebody up. I'm just not going to. So for me, I just been working, and I would love to have somebody who I can bring around the family, and just spend time with. But that's the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what would you say your love language is?
Definitely quality time and words affirmation.
That's annoying garbage. I don't know. Good lord. I don't know, Chad. If a woman asks you your love languages, I don't know. To me, that's kind of in the same ballpark as asking me my astrology sign. Like, it's getting real sounding like you read a textbook on love and you really think they're going to bring that textbook up in here. Like, nobody used that language that long ago, and relationships were infinitely more successful. You know, I mean, you can't really expect your dating game to be successful when you're out here talking about dating, like, what's your love languages? What's your algorithm for love? You can't be talking about love like it's an equation and think you're gonna get too far in it. It just, I don't know. I mean, it's cool that she's hanging on, but like, I don't know. Personally, I'd be ducking on this girl. I'd be giving her the straight swoop. I just don't see it.
I'm one of the guys.
It's cool that she's hanging on, but at the same time, like,
Stuff like, hey, let me
she's got some serious red flags.
Materialistic, but making sure my girl know her needs are met. I feel like a lot of people be like, hey, track on the physical, but is your girl mentally good? Is she financially good? And if you have that, then you locked in. Yeah.
Where? How do you feel about long distance relationships?
It doesn't matter. I'm in school to be a pilot as well. I graduate in a couple months, so that's why I actually flew here half off. so I traveled.
Bruh.
The girl, she was in.
Come
Midwest,
on.
So we actually
Don't be simping on this girl talking about how you gonna fly to her. Come on, man. Come
All
on.
right, let's a little.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You don't do that. You don't do that. You straight up just don't be flying this. No. Come on now. Be better. We'll talk about it.
Come up here with us. Let's all come up here. Scoot that way for me. Thank you. Yes, this is good. All right. Any final question between the two of you before we determine if there's a match?
Do you want kids?
I do.
Okay.
I would
Then
like to be married first, though.
I like that. That's what I was looking for. I'm good.
What is your relationship with God?
Oh, God is number one. You know, coming up from Miami, being your Creole and Egyptian. Oh yeah, that's number one all the time.
Okay.
Especially when you have grandparents that's Baptist.
That's all right.
That's number one.
Yes.
Always first. Everything I do on my film sets, we pray, and I don't try to force my religion on anybody. That's why the young lady was saying earlier, like, whatever works for you works for you. But God is number one. I don't try to flex none of that. I just stick to what's me.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't have any more
Okay.
questions.
Are you good?
Oh, I'm with it.
Okay. Well, let me ask my final question. Is it a yes for you for him?
Yes.
And is it a yes for you for her?
Hell yes.
We got a match. I'll take the mic. Okay, get your late.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. That one's tough because at the end of the day, you gotta judge a woman by her past in the same way that a man gets judged by his future, right? You gotta look at that dude's potential. If you're a lady out there and you're hunting a man, you gotta see what is his potential. You know what I mean? You obviously, as a woman, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that girl with that guy who's still working at Sonic when he's 50. Obviously. But in the same way, you got to check a girl's background. You got to check her past and see what kind of mud she walked through. And if them feet are too dirty, then dang it, you can't be treading that mud into your house, man. Because if you got white carpet, metaphorically speaking, it's just it ain't gonna work. You know, it's just she's gonna ruin your life. You know what I mean? And this girl, I mean, it's cool. It's cool that she said yes and that she's into God, but at the same time, she's also into bartending. I don't know what her tattoo situation looks like. Hard to tell. I'd have to see. I don't know if she's got tats. That right there would be, I'd say, iffy. That one's passable in the sense that I think ink isn't as detrimental to the to the sacrament of God as some would believe. I mean, that plenty of religious deities have been very tatted up, and they're religiously tatted up. So what are you gonna, I wouldn't knock that. So not gonna knock that. But for me, it would be more the career options here. For me, it would be more the bartending, the actressing. Like, these are two attention-seeking behaviors. And again, if if you're going for God, excuse me. All right, sorry about that, Chad. Oof. If you're going to preach the God mantra, I mean, bartending, I mean, you're kind of sinking into the very depravity that you say you're trying to avoid. So I don't know. I'd be careful with this one personally. Let's get into the next clip. So again, remember, we're talking about provisions. We're talking about what, all of what women expect of men, women expect this. Well, here's what we expect of y'all. Like, really, at the end of the day, this is what we expect of y'all, right? It's gonna look a little bit like this. All right, a little bit that nice peace and quiet. All right, let's get right into it.
He will move rebuild, stay loyal. But drain him? Criticize every move, make him feel like nothing he does is ever enough. He doesn't explode, he just unplugs. And by the time you notice, he's already gone. You can have the marriage you want, or you
Playing
can
with
have
audio
it.
chat. Sorry about that. Make sure.
Your man is not
Make sure we
asking for
get-
much. He is asking for peace. And most women don't even know what that means. Peace is not silence. Peace is not you shutting up when you're mad. Peace is coming home to a woman who is not at war with him. A woman who doesn't pick fights over dishes, doesn't weaponize sex, doesn't throw his mistakes.
No, and these are huge. My grandma was a big perpetrator on this one. My dad used to tell me stories about how my grandma basically, after they got married and after they had my dad, she sure fruited right on up and thought she was going to hold it over my grandpa. My grandpa being a very successful man back in the 40s and 50s, he was like, girl, what you mean? I'm kind of like built like that. So my boy went out there and he cracked that whip and he cracked them asses. My boy, my grandpa slayed. Brought STDs back to my grandma twice, but hey, guy still hit regularly. And it was just a really sad example of a very toxic relationship in the sense of kind of literally what she's talking about right here. You know, when a woman in the home just thinks she can take all the things that make a home and then turn them on the man and threaten to withhold the very peace that he's just simply demanding. Like up first and foremost, let's be abundantly clear. The sex can be acquired amongst many women. That, like, get that through your head, ladies. Like, no. You don't exclusively hold that characteristic in your back pocket. Not even close. And most of the women who throw that stuff around, they know. They already know. That's why they're doing it. Come on now. They know that in the back of their mind, ain't nobody gonna be worrying about them too long. But yeah, it's sad to see it. Like I said, you know, my grandma, seeing her weaponize the things that are supposed to make a relationship, it was hard to hear about it, you know, and it showed. It showed growing up. My dad and my father and his mother did not get along ever. They were constantly at each other's throats. Anytime they met, it was give it 24 to 48 hours, and they were just, and it was usually about the same topic. Grandpa John. It was always them butting heads because Grandma always had her version, right? The whole my truth. You know, that's women's favorite terminology nowadays. Using this my truth nonsense, and my dad just wasn't having it. My dad was like, "What do you mean? I was there. Like, I watched you literally do kind of exactly what this video is going to hit on. Bark at him the moment he walks through that front door. Just up his ass harder than a wedgie." Okay, and then wondering why he was. And again, this is back in the 50s when, as a wife, you couldn't really just like mouth up and expect too many good results here. My grandpa would pack a bag of clothes. Boom, right back out that door, gone for a few days, hitting ass, clapping cheeks, clapping them booty cheeks. My grandpa slayed. He was a concrete layer for skyscrapers in Los Angeles. That dude was big time balling. That dude was making millionaire money in the 40s. Now, he was a gambling addict, so hit him with the old, because there isn't a single dime to my name as a result, but hey, you know, he lived, he partied, he rocked hard, and he definitely didn't take no shit. And so rolling forward through the channel, you'll see this is something we try to drive for here, is for any ladies who do check in, and guys, what you should be looking out for. This is the biggest one. The whole concept of peace, right? That is the biggest one, I think, that is so underrated in terms of what these women do not understand, that's what's got to come after the sex. It's gotta. Okay, sometimes we want to hear a little bit of, you know, what's wrong with a little bit of quiet sometimes? Who knows why women feel the need to fill the air with noise at all times? There are plenty of hopes and dreams and wants of understanding of why they do that, but at the end of the day, you'd think it's for attention, but then you give them said attention, and then they got you jumping their phone, and there's 10 more people giving them that same attention. So can't really say it's attention seeking, because if it was, then you would think they'd be satisfied. So no, they just sometimes open their mouth just to fucking hear themselves talk. You can pardon my language, but sometimes they really do just open their mouth to be hearing themselves talk, and it's just like, guys, ladies, shut up. It really is that simple.
Mistakes from 3 years ago back in his face every time he forgets to text back. Men do not leave because you gained weight. They leave because the energy in the house feels like a battlefield and he is tired of being the enemy. You want to know why he works late, why he takes the long way home, why he seems distant? Because home stopped being his refuge and started being where he gets attacked. Here's what women don't understand. When a man feels respected, desired, and at peace, he will move mountains for you. He will provide, protect, rebuild, stay loyal. But drain him? Criticize every move, make him feel like nothing he does is ever enough. He doesn't explode, he just unplugs. And by the time you notice, he's already gone. You can have the marriage you want, or you can have your ego.
Yeah, no, this is huge. You know, to all the women out there who are surprised that they're getting cheated on, right? Like to these women who are dramatically surprised. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why am I getting cheated on? I'm doing everything right. Really? Are you sure you're not barking up his ass every 30 minutes? Are you sure you're not literally like up his ass, literally trying to task him all the time? Are you sure you're not interrupting his little bits and moments and pieces that he gets, even when you're in a relationship? Obviously, we're not arguing that guys can sometimes have a habit of isolating and treating their girl like a roommate, and that's not okay. Obviously, we're not preaching that. But when a guy wants his solo dolo time, ladies, you gotta respect that, and you gotta give that to him. You gotta give him that couple hours, you know? Like we need that to unwind. Like, believe me, we have plenty going on in our minds. You ladies really have a habit of thinking that just because we're not actively doing something, that we're not constantly racking thoughts through our brains. We're not actively planning moves. You know, for those of us who are out there actually doing these, and who are active minds and active guys out there doing their thing, like these are not standstill men. Even when they're sitting in that chair, sipping a beer, watching a game, they're thinking. They're thinking either about work, they're thinking about something, they're thinking about that next bit. They're thinking, trust me, there already is things on their mind. They don't need you adding to the pile, especially if it's a repetitive element. Oh, I don't know, Chad, how many times you need to be told to take out the trash before you just get tired of it and you're just like, ooh, it just makes you want to unwind a little bit, you know what I mean? And it's just like, ladies, relax. Obviously, if you have a guy doing nothing, that's obviously a problem. But when you've got a guy who just came home off work and he's a tasker and he gets his stuff done, relax. Okay, give him his time. Okay, he'll be there for you. I promise. Yeah, no, this is, and then again, this is what, again, we're talking about the provisions, right? We're going to go right back into this. This is, again, these are going to be women, again, strictly talking like, I need this. You're going to bring me this as a man. You're going to provide all of this type A male energy right off the bat. But here's what I'm going to give you. And it's just ridiculous. What do you guys think back there? See what I mean? They can't stand it either. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous.
We talked about this last time you were on the show. She could be a star. She could be a prostitute. She could be the least deserving of a man being traditional and paying for dates. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's not going to get it. Like, plenty of men are going to take girls and prostitutes and stars out on dates and pay for the dinner. The men are still going to pay because it's, to use a video game term called meta, most effective tactics available. It is the most effective strategy when it comes.
Well, and it sucks. It really does suck. This is the sympedemic. This is some of you boys out there really having a struggle with being alone. This is something I'm gonna have to lay the smack down on you. Because literally, too many of you men out there are using women no different than women are using men. You're just using them to occupy some time. You're not moving with any kind of motivation. You're not moving with any kind of purpose with this chick. You're just plowing her a couple times a week in some situationship. You're just adding racks to your body count. You're just getting that much more disconnected from the human experience, in my opinion, personally. I think that's going to be a big thing with my channel here. We are not going to be actively promoting that you go out and rack up some nasty ass body count. I really don't think you need it. You don't need to buck down. You don't need to crack 50 to 100 bodies to understand how sex works. You really don't. You really just don't. As a man, you don't. It's not going to get you much. You might end up learning how to buck, but you ain't going to learn how to love if you're being wanting my honest take on it. You buck too many women, you're gonna have regrets no different than a woman does. I think not in the same sense as where if a woman does it right, she's just straight busted, right? If a girl's been plowed out by 50, then I mean, come on, she done. She bust open. If that thing been cracked harder than a nutcracker at Christmas Eve, like, there's just not much you're gonna be able to do there. There's just not much. That chick you gotta toss. But for a guy, I've noticed men who've racked up. I've known enough men in my time who they themselves have racked up pretty decent body counts, and a lot of them are saying the same story. You know, I'm noticing a very similar pattern with these men. They're very disconnected from women in a relationship standpoint. They're very into the sex only. I'm noticing these men, they really do struggle to get past the sex only part. They get to that part where they get to what we were talking about in a previous video. I might have deleted it, but I talk about this. There's 24 hours in a day, right? And too many of y'all get wrapped up in that hour, 2 hours of fun, and you forget that there's 23 extra hours in the day that you're gonna potentially deal with this person, especially if you're bonding with them on an intimate level. And let's be real, boys, if you're laying down the right kind of pipe, if you're laying down that kind of Montana, we're gonna set up an oil line pipe, then she gonna be calling. Come on now, you already know. Come on now, you already know when you lay down the pipe. You don't gotta worry about that next day text. You already know it's coming. Okay, so that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about evolving beyond just that hour or two of fun that like I said, that you already know you can acquire, right? Again, that's the choke of it all. You already know you can acquire it. So if that's the game, then why just settle? Why just play the game on easy difficulty? Because that's easy. Okay, it's too easy. You know, I'll dog on some of the rappers that they rap about how much they go and slay puss, and it's like, what's the quality of puss you're actually slaying? Are you genuinely slaying 1,000 baddies, or are you slaying 40 to 60 baddies, maybe 80 baddies, and then you're plowing like 90 mids or sub mids? Because let's be real, them's the women's that's be throwing it out, and they just want to get that back cracked. So I caution the high body count. It doesn't play well. I got a buddy who he's struggling. He's really struggling with the concepts because he's literally thinking, you know, damn, you know, there's a couple loves of my life back there that I could have had, I could be genuinely still dating now and possibly have children. He's seeing this because I'm very thankful. I'm very blessed. I'm able to be in a very successful 3+ now year relationship. I now have a little baby girl. She's now 2 months old. I'm incredibly honored to be a dad and be a part of this. And we are an excellent family. We're an excellent family unit. And it takes work, obviously. But I think seeing that, you know, kind of put my boy in perspective. He really started to kind of do the same thing the girls do, right? They start to roll back. They start to kind of roll back all them bodies in the head. And then after a while, you get to a point where you're thinking, dang, there actually might have been a couple that were good in there, but I was so focused on just getting the puss and rotating to the next notch in the belt that I forgot to tighten my pants. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. You know, I really do hate to see it. I hate to see a bro look back and think, dang, there is one back there that actually was decent. You gotta think, again, like I said, if you do the math right, say 15 to 20% of women are good. Okay, well, in math, by that very definition of math, per 10 bodies, that means there's 2 in there that are decent or better than decent. Okay, so if you now go rack up 50, by that mathematical definition, that's a literal 10 stack of decent women that you've let slide. And then and then we wonder why we're sitting here in a world where we've got just the massive, most disconnected, marriage at an all-time low, you know, infidelity at an all-time high, abortions at an all-time high, which is just another sign of promiscuity and just overall lack of want to be in a relationship. Because anyone who wants to be in a relationship, I feel like, is very resistant to that idea. I feel like the whole idea of abortion and that whole topic really only lands when you're coming from a mindset of selfishness, of I'm here to get what's mine, and that's just a consequence of me getting what's mine, and I'm not going to just deal with it. And it's unfortunate. You look at the abortion numbers, and it's preposterous, the ratio of the amount of them percentage-wise that are done for what we would consider legitimate reasons to have something done. The fact that number makes up like literally less than 5%, and I mean way less than 5% of all abortions done, which you're talking 95% of abortions are done just because people don't want the responsibility. And that's just a joke. That's embarrassing. And that's on the last generation, that's on my generation, and that's on the generation watching. That's on you guys. That's on all three of us. That's on 50 years of beings that are still sitting this earth, still dating, still actively dating, but still coming at it with just such a negative mindset, and it's just unfortunate. Be more like these guys. Okay? Be more like these guys.
So there's no dispute that men are still going to pay for the woman, even if she's a strumpet, even if she is letting dudes in her and she's leaking out of every possible imaginable, DNA everywhere, right? Kind of gross. However, does she deserve it? And my position is no.
No, I think he's dead on. I think it's obviously if these girls hide it, then there's not much you can do. But once you determine that information, you gotta rotate her into the recreation use only category. You do not take one of them kind of girls serious. It's gonna get you in trouble. Promise. So yeah, no, we'll skip over that. This one was just this is just a girl who's just kind of coming in, given I want you to do all my things for me energy. And again, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's just
A provider.
Okay. That's it.
Yes. A provider. Yes.
Okay.
Financially, definitely.
What are some things you look for in a man?
A provider.
Okay. That's it.
Yes. A provider. Yes.
Okay.
Financially, definitely. Deal breakers is a man.
oh, that was a sweet sound. Oh,
Gotcha, bitch.
oh, that was a sweet sound. Soon as all of them heard that, soon as all of them heard, I need you to pay for me. No. Nah, you coming up with kind of that ratty ass bun. I mean, you went with kind of like the sweats outfit. Definitely not the right approach, and definitely not the right demand. Coming in looking like yesterday's slop. Like, not smart. Like, again, that's the theme of this episode, and it's a never-ending trend. I mean, we're gonna be able to make plenty of videos just on this topic alone. The amount of times that women are gonna sit there and say what you need to do for them, without doing hardly anything to explain what they're gonna do for you, and that's no. Here on this channel, they're gonna learn what they gotta do for you, and the first one is shut the French toast up.
Or are you a full 100% entrepreneur?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Entrepreneur, look for a provider.
Gotcha.
Entrepreneur looking for a provider. Entrepreneur of 10 years now.
Talk your talk.
10 years.
You better talk.
2016.
No, I can't even finish it because it's just like you hear entrepreneur, you hear that, and it just makes me wanna. It's just embarrassing. Oh, it's just ridiculous. It's a joke. Yeah, no, I like wanting the French biscuits, and yeah.
I'm 36 years old and unmarried, and
So this one right here, this is a big one because this is again we're talking about, we're talking about how again women are making have all these expectations of men, but don't see what they need to bring to the table for a man. What do we want, right? We want a woman that's calm, friendly, submissive, petite as one can be, friendly, engaging, not a challenge, not someone who's constantly challenging. There's a difference between inserting your opinion and challenging me. I hope you all understand. There is a big difference between having your opinion and challenging mine regularly. There's a big difference. Women don't get that I don't think they're even aware of how often they are legitimately challenging you on an almost regular basis, and they don't even hear it in their own language. And you're going to see it with this one. You're going to see what I'm kind of talking about.
I've been reflecting on that a lot lately. And unmarried, I'm 36 years old and unmarried, and I've been reflecting on that a lot lately. Just like as I get older, why that's the case, and there's a lot of reasons. I think. But I'm going to start sharing a couple of them with you. One of them being I once went on a date with somebody to go kayaking, and I always wear sunscreen.
First off, very interesting date. Already giving me type A vibes. I don't know. Personally, these very high octane, high activity first dates. I don't know about y'all, but that screams like you're some high energy girl. And if I'm being honest, a lot of them tend to be runners, and they are gonna have
emotional damage.
I'm just saying, it's just the way it is. It really is just the way it is. I don't write it, I just report it. This is a very extreme activity. Kayaking, that's a very extreme first activity. So, all right, so let's let that slide and see what we got happening here.
Like I'm very good about my sun protection. I grew up on the beach. I have to see my dermatologist once a year now to get stuff removed because I was very irresponsible when I was younger. Anyway, so I'm very good now about wearing sunscreen. But we went on this date, and before we got in the kayak, he looked at me and goes, "You should put on sunscreen." And I don't know if it was the delivery or the fact that I just really don't like being told what to do, ever. I refused. I was like, absolutely not. No. And I got sun poisoning because we were on kayaks for 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, good Lord, what do you want? And I do mean good Lord, what do you want? What do you want? Like I said, we want calm, friendly, submissive, quiet. You know, her instinct, her driving instinct is to resist male authority. You notice she hints that right there at the end. She's like, I couldn't help it. I had to refuse. Puts her own health at risk because of an innate need to resist men, whether it's from indoctrination from social media, upbringing, whatever. This woman has been trained and just brained into believing that men are the enemy. And so this woman goes out and gets her son roasted with a little cherry on top. Like, she got roasted like rotisserie chicken because she didn't want to listen to a man. Like, it literally triggered her. Like, you can't make this up. It actually triggered her. I think that's a joke. What do you guys think back there? Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. We got the stream nice up and popping. Thank you so much. I look forward to doing more of these videos. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.